Taraji P. Henson has graced our screens for the longest time, from her performances while working with Tyler Perry to the popular Cookie Lyon on Empire, and one would assume she's at the top of the game when it comes to money. But it's quite the contrary, as Taraji P. Henson recently broke down in tears during an interview where she revealed the pay disparity she suffers. Despite starring in many expensive movies, she doesn't seem to be making that much money and is now demanding higher and better pay. However, her request has led many people to ask, is she even as good as she thinks? We'll be answering that question and going deep into the conversation of whether she deserves more pay or if it's time to actually call it quits. Taraji Henson was born in Washington, D.C., but moved to Oxon Hill, Maryland with her mother after her parents got divorced. With just one parent to look after her, Taraji knew she had to succeed from an early age, no matter what path she decided to follow. When she was ready to go to college, she decided to study electrical engineering at AT&T State University, but failed out of the class. Now that she knew her weak point was mathematical equations, she had to find a different path of study to pursue, and she decided to find something else to do. Taraji Henson began to take up small gigs here and there, and even ended up working for the Department of Defense at the Pentagon. In 1994, she gave birth for her boyfriend at the time, but by the time she was graduating from Howard University, where she studied theater in 1995, they had broken up. Almost 10 years after the breakup, Taraji's ex was stabbed multiple times, and she still breaks down whenever she talks about the issue. But that's an aside. After graduating from Howard University, she moved to Los Angeles to pursue a career in acting, and made her big screen debut in 1998 when she starred in Streetwise. Her performance in the film was impressive and paved the way for bigger roles. A few years later, in 2002, she got a recurring role as a police inspector on the cop show The Division, which ran until 2004. In 2001, she got her breakthrough role in John Singleton's Baby Boy, where she portrayed the main character's girlfriend. Despite having recurring roles on TV and other major roles in movies, she didn't become the nation's sweetheart until around 2011-2013. During this period, she portrayed the role of Detective Joss Carter on Person of Interest. Fans of the show had already fallen in love with her character, but the writers decided to kill her. After the episode aired, many fans expressed their anger. But most importantly, they were rightfully baffled by how well she portrayed guilt and anger in the series. After her character was written out of the show, Taraji began to fall into typecasting. It seemed like every movie she acted afterwards ensured she portrayed the feelings of guilt and anger. You don't believe she was typecast? Let's look at her role in Acrimony. She played the role of the patient wife who left her husband right before everything became rosy. After her husband got his big break, he moved on with another woman, and Taraji slowly descended into mania. Now let's look at her role in Empire. After building wealth with her husband, they got separated, and she became the crazy ex that somehow always kept tabs on her husband's new partners. In most of her movie roles, Taraji P. Henson is cast as the angry woman who isn't patient enough to go through hardship. While she is able to translate these roles perfectly, it has affected the range of movies she's in, but that's not entirely her fault. Truth is, as an entertainer, your progress is highly dependent on your team, and that's where all of Taraji's problems started. Taraji Henson had a great run with her team until after she starred on Empire. She gave us one of the best performances on any show, and the name Cookie Lyon will forever resound in history. But her team didn't have other plans outside the show. Normally, when a character is that good on a show, their team capitalizes on the love or hate people have for the character, and get whopping sums from endorsement deals based solely on the character. But Taraji's team were so laid back that they didn't try to do anything with the Cookie Lyon character. After Empire stopped airing, Taraji's team started making plans to do an Empire spin-off based on Cookie Lyon, and the actress was on board with the plan. But her team didn't have a great plan to preserve the love people had for the character. Let's be frank. If the team wanted to do something great with Cookie Lyon, they would have. For example, a spin-off of Empire based on the life of Cookie Lyon could look like a delve into her childhood. Or they could start an entire show based on Cookie Lyon starting her own label and competing with big names in the game. But when Taraji asked for their plans, they had nothing. Taraji had to let her entire team go, even if it meant starting from scratch again. Now, we We can't say her team members were bad, but they didn't seem forward-thinking. For an actress like Taraji P. Henson, not seeing her on your screen for years can lead to an outburst, and her team didn't seem ready for the consequences of their actions. Due to the issues with low pay, Taraji has been considering quitting acting, and that hasn't been news that anyone wants to hear. Her reason for wanting to quit acting is simple: low pay. Taraji's biggest problem isn't the fact that she has to pay taxes, because she knows it's a necessity. The issue is the fact that she's not paid enough to keep things running after commissions and taxes are paid. Taraji Henson is trying to set a good example for younger black actresses. But how can she do that when she keeps taking low pay for high-grossing roles? She's not even trying to place herself in these situations. But let's face it, there's a pay gap in Hollywood, and black women are receiving the short end of the stick. Taraji has toiled for over 20 years in the movie scene, and her performance has been nothing short of stellar. But no matter how much effort she puts into each role, and no matter how much she brings her characters to life, she always seems to go back to square one for any new role. Imagine an icon and a name as big as Taraji Henson auditioning for a role that even in your dreams, you know she's perfect for it. Situations like that makes one wonder if she's a bad actress or if she's suffering due to systemic oppression. If you are being honest with yourself, you know Taraji Henson is one of the best actresses alive. She's up there when you are listing the top actresses. However, why does the talk of her skill come up now that she is asking for better pay? When you watched Tyler Perry's Acrimony, why did you think there was a long-standing debate on who was wrong or right? Do you think it is because the situation was so relatable? No, it's because Taraji Henson and the other actors made the scenes and dialogue so real, it was impossible to not pay attention. Why do you think movie fans went crazy when Taraji's character was killed in Person of Interest? Was it because they wanted to control the creative direction of the writers? No, Taraji brought so much life to the character she portrayed and made something that other people could find relatable. So the question of her acting being average or not should not exist. Now that Taraji Henson is demanding better pay, the question should be, why is there pay disparity? Is the pay disparity rooted in discrimination? What is the way forward for black actresses to start making what they are worth? Will another strike action from SAG-AFTRA yield better results for actresses like Taraji? Due to the interviews that went viral of Taraji Henson demanding better pay, people began to assume she had issues with Oprah Winfrey. Taraji had just starred in the movie The Color Purple, which was produced by Oprah, when she started to demand higher pay. Before then, she had talked about the pay disparity in other interviews, but was more intentional about bringing it up this time. Anyway, people assumed she was angry at Oprah Winfrey for not getting paid well after the movie, but that was the contrary. Oprah Winfrey gave CBS more insight into the alleged beef and explained that half a story went viral and everyone ran with their own narrative. The only issue they had was when Taraji got angry about renting a car while on set, and Oprah Winfrey sorted out the issue. However, people decided to paint an image of Taraji Henson getting oppressed by Oprah Winfrey to push whatever agenda they had in mind. But all this doesn't change the fact that Taraji Henson has been acting for years, but still complains about the insane pay gap that makes accepting low-paying roles just to ensure she can pay the bills. In 2023, actors joined writers on strike because of low pay and the rise of AI. Taraji Henson has worked hard for most of her life to get where she is now, and honestly, she deserves better than whatever treatment Hollywood is giving her. The talk of her acting prowess should not come up as a means of silencing her from making her demands. If big and older actresses like Taraji aren't getting paid their worth, what do you think will become of younger actresses looking up to her? Continuing at this rate will send a message to upcoming stars to accept poor treatment in the workplace and not pursue what they want. It will make them not ask for anything except what they are given. If we can't lend our voices for better pay, we can ensure we don't encourage silence on the issue.